Hello and welcome to Cocktail Blog number 12. Well, I am pleased to report that last night everything went back to boring. I managed to corral that running chicken properly onto the camera frame, and I was able to shoot all the hydrogen and red, which means tonight I'll just need 2 hours to shoot blue and green, and that one will be in the coop, as it were. And then I'm going to shift over and finish off the checkmark or Omega Nebula up there in Sagittarius, and that'll be fun. Tonight's drink is a gin and tonic. Thank you, Skin. Let's have a taste of this. I don't recall ever having one of these. I'm using, can you see this? They've got these fancy ice cubes in the freezer here that are all impregnated with fruit. It looks like I've got orange, cucumber, and lemon inside this one. And of course, gin and tonic, local variety gin. So let's give this a try. I thought I was going to hate it, but that is quite refreshing. All right, well, that's on the list. We've got moon in the sky now. It's about 3 days past new, and we're starting to see a fairly significant crescent of it up there. Should be a nice pairing with Venus tonight. Last night there was the trio of Venus, Mercury, and the moon moves a fair amount every night, and so it should be much closer to Venus tonight, maybe fairly close. I didn't really look it up, but it'll be fun to see that. I'll try and get a snap from the lodge, which is a good place to see it. Yeah, the moon is a big deal when you're an astrophotographer, because as it gets bigger and bigger, it becomes more and more of an issue until when you get within about 3 days of being full, it pretty much washes out anything in the sky that is delicate or dim. So you really have to plan your shooting around the moon phase and also when the moon's going to come up. Now, when the moon comes up as a full moon, it always comes up opposite the sun at sunset, and it stays up all night. The moon comes up 50 minutes later every night as a result of its progress around the Earth in 29 days. So close to new moon, the moon is up and then it sets after an hour or two. When the moon is at half phase, it takes a few hours and then it's down, and then you have the rest of the night. So as you get closer and closer to full moon, you have less and less moonless night to deal with. So the only real dodge is to shoot away from it, and you can use some of these very narrow passband filters, like this hydrogen filter I use that just lets in a tiny little sliver of light centered around hydrogen. And so if I'm shooting a target that's hydrogen rich, I can plan my schedule so that when the moon is big, I've got this filter in and I can still shoot it up until you get within a couple of days of full moon, and then you're pretty much screwed. Now, once you get past full moon, the moon comes up still 50 minutes later every night. So it gets dark and you've got a period of time, an hour more or so each night, until finally the moon really isn't coming up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and you've essentially had the whole night moonless, which is how it was when I got here. So I'm going to start thinking about all that, taking all these new targets that I have and organizing into some kind of shooting schedule. I may end up shooting 4 or 5 different targets in a bunch of different ways and having to get back to them. And the automation of the telescope is a really good thing when it comes to that, because you can automatically center the telescope back up where it's supposed to be when you go back to an image that you started a week ago. Still quite good. The weather seems to be warming up here. I have only one shirt on tonight. I still have 2 pairs of pants. Maybe it'll just be the shirt and the hoodie, and no winter coat and no hat. That would be nice. And that's the way it was last night. It was pretty good. It is really dry here. Look at the humidity setting on the sensor that I have on the telescope. 14% humidity. I'm wearing lip balm all the time. I'm probably going to run out. I never wear lip balm. We've got a bunch of new guests in. I was circulating at lunch, talking to them, shooing the bird away, sneaking in there after somebody had gotten up and pecking right off their plate. Anyway, it was fun to talk to some people. We have a couple from Quebec, Canada in, and some other people from Belgium. I think that maybe now that I've done all the excursions, that maybe the cocktail blogs are going to slow down a little bit. I've been hitting it pretty hard here, 12 of them in 14 days. And maybe I'm not going to do one every day from here on out. I'll still put up images as I get images. The video about the trip to Big Daddy Sand Dune is nearing completion, and I'm going to start in on the food blog. But probably not going to be putting up quite so much content. Try and get into the swing of things and maybe relax a little bit here. I've still got 2 days left in the guest cabin here. I found their bathrobe and slippers that they have for you there, and I've been walking around in that. That's great. Well, that's basically it. Skin, thanks for the gin and tonic. We will see you soon. Carpe Noctem.